Hi, greetings. Thanks for joining me again for part two of finding support to lengthen the leg. Let's check out props. So you're going to want a thick pillow, or you can use a yoga block like I do with a towel to make it softer. And you may or may not want to have a pillow to support your side, as we're going to be doing some side lying work like we started last time. Let's start lying on the back, please. And so lengthen yourself out. While I lower the camera. Oh. So here you are lying on your back and you're looking for support. So what does support mean to you? Does it mean a sense of weight? Does it mean a sense of how much contact there is between a part of yourself and the floor? Does it mean a place where you can feel yourself surrendering your weight because you feel the floor is there underneath you? Now please begin by rolling your head ever so slowly, glacially slowly. You're not looking to measure anything or to go as far as you can go. You're simply tasting the soup, making sure it's not too hot, and allowing yourself to sense what's easy and comfortable in rolling your head. Now, when you roll your head, is your head the only thing that moves? For instance, is your neck moving, maybe? How about your Adam's apple? How about the weight through your shoulders? When you turn to the right, do you feel more weight in your right shoulder blade? And when you turn to the left, the left? So just sense how far down into yourself you feel that turning. And then as you turn to the left, please be aware of your left foot. And as you turn to the right, please be aware of your right foot. No other stipulation, just notice how far and distant is your foot from your head in your own awareness. Good. Now let's please come roll on to the left side. And you bring your props to support you. Lying on your side, the pillow under your waist, pillow under your head, arms straight out in front of you for now, knees on top of each other with that 90-degree angle. And last time we worked with sliding the leg forward and back. You'll remember that, with the ankles together. Now put your hand on your pelvis again, and we're going to work instead with the pelvis going head to tail instead of forward to back. So if you were to find the bottom side of your waist and push it into the floor, your top hip would move towards your head. And then if you were to push the trochanter away from you towards the wall below your feet, you would feel that your pelvis would be going down and away from you and up and towards the wall above your head. So you're moving. It's actually a side bending movement. You put your hand on your trochanter, you can feel your trochanter moving away from your head and your trochanter moving towards your head, just as your hand is doing. So now slow that movement down. Where are you getting the support to move your hip towards your head? Well, one of the places that you can check out is the bottom side of your rib cage. You'll notice that as you take the trochanter towards your head, you flatten your waist, and you may also be able to sense that there's a little push that you're doing with the bottom leg. It pushes into the floor and starts to flatten your waist and send the top pelvis bone towards the wall above your head. Now, where do you get the support to move in the opposite direction? You'll notice that it creates a tunnel under your waist, your bottom waist, under here. And that's something, you're pushing something into the floor to row you down the floor. So go back and forth now between those two movements, making it just the kernel, just the very beginning seed of a movement. Slow it down, make it smaller. And maybe where you want to start is just in what you feel on the bottom bone, the bone that's opposite the top bone here, and how you're rocking to the top of the bone, through the center of the bone, and to the bottom of the bone. So you're moving in this direction, and then you're moving in that direction, towards the head, towards the tail. Now, as you continue with this movement, you may notice that you can climb up the floor by pressing through your bottom leg, that would be your left leg, so that your head is actually moving with the rest of your body. This is going to become important later in our lesson. So see how you now can climb up the floor and lengthen out the top of your head, and then lengthen out your butt as you rock all of yourself. So just continue with that movement. Why don't you put your hand in your hair for a minute and just feel yourself press into your hand and retreat away from your hand. It'll just be a very small movement where you'll feel the head come in more comfortably into the hand and then just recede a little bit away from the hand. It's a very small movement. All right, great. So now, would you please bring one arm in front of the other? We're going to do a reference movement that we're going to continue with for the rest of the lesson, all the way through to the end of the lesson. And that is, can you lift your arms away from the floor? Oh, that's so heavy. How do I lift my arms off the floor? Oh. So what could you use to lift your arms off the floor besides your muscles? And I'd like you to cut your effort in half and slow it down and just start to feel what's the first sensation that you feel when you lift your arms off the floor. No bending elbows, that's cheating. How can I lift the weight of my arms off the floor? And just let it be the beginning of the movement. We'll come back to that later in the lesson. So now I'd like you to take your top leg and move it onto the floor in front of the bottom leg. And then spend some time figuring out, where's the most comfortable place for me to be? What do I have to do with the position of my legs where I'm the most comfortable? Ideally, your legs are higher up the floor. That'll be easier for you. But if that's not comfortable, you can move them lower. But notice that if you move them very lower, that you're completely unstable and you actually roll forward. We want to stay with those two pelvis bones stacked on top of each other vertically. So find your sweet spot. And then put your hand on your top leg and just begin to slide your hand down the thigh a little bit and then back to the side of your pelvis. So as you do that, what else is moving? Can you feel how your head is rolling towards the floor a little bit as you reach your knee, and your head is rolling towards the ceiling a little bit in that direction as you bring your hand, as you roll your torso and bring your hand onto your rump. So just continue. This is such a simple, easy thing to do. You can enjoy yourself. Now, what is happening on the bottom rib cage? Can you feel how the bottom rib cage is rolling? How is that rolling happening? Your pelvis isn't moving, is it? So where are you getting, there's where the traction comes to roll backwards from the back leg. If I push the back leg down into the ground, it will roll me backwards. And then how do I roll forwards? Well, it seems like maybe I move this knee forwards a little bit, which is what we did last week. Remember when we were sliding our pelvis forward and back like this? This is a very similar thing, except we have our legs akimbo and we're sliding down the leg. So now continue to slide down the leg further. And if you need to adjust your leg so it's easier to reach, do that. Don't try to go any further than is comfortable. There's no goal here. There's no mission. There's no prize. And there's no really doing it right. You're just manipulating yourself in this weird position on the floor to find out all the places where you're getting support. Are you getting support through the bottom of this top knee? Are you getting support through the bottom side of your pelvis or your bottom waist? Are you getting support through the bottom thigh? Good. So now try to reach an inch longer, only if it doesn't cause you to tense your stomach muscles and to tighten your breathing. Okay, great. Now let's come back to our reference movement, which is that our hands are on top of each other, they're interlaced. And now lift your arms off the ceiling and see if you haven't found some very interesting way to use what you just learned about how you push the bottom leg into the floor, how you use the bottom side of the pelvis to start to make those arms a little bit lighter. Isn't that amazing? So now let's turn over to the other side, and I'll just review it briefly for you in kind of top speed so you can continue on your own. So you're supported with your pillow. You start with your pre-test, which is knees on top of each other, lifting the arms. You may find that they're easier on this side already because of what you learned on the other side. Then you take your legs and you move them around until you find the best place where they're as close to your shoulders as they can be without causing a lot of strain. And then you bring your top hand up here on your rump and you start to just slide forward and back a little bit. Just up to the knee, back to the waist, forward to the knee. Notice the little tiny bit of rolling that's happening. Noticing how you're steering yourself with the bottom leg. Notice how, just like in the first lesson, you're doing a movement similar to this, but with your legs akimbo. You're not actually trying to slide your knee on the floor, but in the effort, in the action of rolling, there is a little bit of that happens. So you're going to do that. Start to reach further down the leg so that you're really rolling towards the ceiling with your head and towards the floor with your head. This should be really kind of easy and kind of pleasant. Not really a very big deal. You can slow it down and let it be kind of a relaxing, it's almost like it's almost soothing to do this. You just let it slow down. Start to find how you're using the bottom thigh to push you backwards and the top side of the pelvis to pull you forwards. And then, okay, that was super fast, but that's just to give you a refresher. Then you stay with your legs akimbo and you find how you can lift your arms now by using more of what you've discovered about the support underneath your body. Rather than lifting from the top, you're pushing into the ground to make the arms lighter. Then please remove all your props, lie on your back, and just sense if you notice more support And once again, begin to roll your head. And as you roll your head, sense what else is rolling. If the rolling into your shoulders is clearer. If maybe you put a hand on your breastbone, you notice that your breastbone is actually turning, rolling to the right and to the left. Great. Then roll and think about the right foot as you roll to the right and sense the left foot as you roll to the left. Okay, short and sweet for part 2. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you.